Welcome to Time-Saving Forms, Surveys, and Quizzes with Google Forms with our presenter, Kim Munoz. Kimberly is an instructional technologist for Franklin ISD in Franklin, Texas. She is a Google certified trainer and has experience as a middle school technology trainer, a TAP mentor teacher, as well as serving as a member of the Bryan ISD support team, which aids teachers and students with their use of technology. And I'm sure Kim is up to so much more these days that she can share with us. Welcome, Kim. Oh, sorry, Kim, I had you muted. Let's try that again. Lana, can you try to unmute Kim? There we go. Hi, Kim.
There we go. Hi, how are you?
Welcome. All right, we see your
screen.
Can you see
my screen? All right, great. All right, hey everybody. I'm super excited to be here today and to share this presentation with you about forms. Google Forms is one of my most favorite tools that I have used in my classroom. It probably is the tool that transformed my classroom first when I first started using Google years ago. So I really can't wait to share what it can do for you and how it can help you in your classroom too. As they said, I am a former middle school teacher and I currently serve as an instructional technologist. And I have been teaching for over 15 years and I've been an instructional technologist for almost 3 years now. So, and you can find me on Twitter as Tech Munoz. And of course, I'll share my email later too so you can connect with me that way. So today I'm going to share with you just some ideas for using Google Forms. And I'm also going to show you how to create and gather that information, how to see that information that you're gathering in charts, and also how to create quizzes with Google Forms, because that's really where the time saving comes in whenever you can have something grade your quizzes for you. What teacher doesn't want that? So I'm really excited to show you that feature. And then what are Google Forms? We're just going to talk about the spreadsheet usage of Google Forms, how it's connected to spreadsheets, how that helps you collect the data and how you can sort through it, because everything that you put into a form, it sends all of that information to a master spreadsheet. But there's two different ways that you can view this information in Google Forms. I love Google Forms specifically because of that data collection feature. It's very quick. I have even made Google Forms on the fly inside of my classroom about 5 minutes before kids were about to leave, because I decided that I wanted to get a quick assessment from them of what they learned that day, because maybe I just kind of felt like my kids weren't really getting it, so I wanted to see from their feedback if they were or not. So it was just, there's just a really quick way to get some data collection. You can make it anonymous or not anonymous. Of course, you can make it easy for yourself by having it grade your quizzes for you. There are visuals of data that you can use to gauge your students and where they are as a class or individually, and you can also share that data with your administration as well. And the cool thing is that it integrates with Google Classroom very easily as well. So if you're using Google Classroom, this is definitely something that you can integrate into that. So you can create surveys for students or for teachers. There were times when, as a teacher, I wanted to share some of the things that I was doing in my classroom with other teachers, and so I would create a Google form just to see if there was interest from other teachers, if they wanted to learn about how to create forms or how to use Google in their classroom. So I would create a survey for them to fill out. We also use Google Forms in our district for collecting student data, I think it was some type of an audit survey where we were auditing the students and how safe they felt on campus, and how they felt, how comfortable they were coming to their teachers for things. And so you can send out surveys that where you get that information back from your students, whether you know who they are or whether you want to keep it anonymous. And then, of course, gathering data. This is what it looks like on the back end. It's just like a spreadsheet. And so I'll show you that personally here in just a moment. And then this is what the visuals will look like to show you once you collect that data. You can, depending on the type of question you use, you can get that data back in a pie chart or you can get it in a bar graph. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with using Google Forms so I can show it to you live. And I did send a link to you guys, Lisa and Leanne, to send out to the participants. That link that they're going to send out to you is actually a live form called Participation Quiz, and it's just to show you some live feedback of how this works. So it looks like 6 of you already took the quiz. So if you can take that, it's not going to ask for personal information. It's just some random questions just to show you what some of that data will look like. So while that's happening, I'm going to show you how to get started with Google Forms. So there's 2 ways that you can get started. The first way is through your Google Drive. So inside of your Google Drive, you want to click the new blue button. You go to More, and then you choose Google Forms. Or you could go directly to forms.google.com, and that brings up just the Google Forms window. And you'll see up here at the top that you can start a new blank form, which is usually where I start, but they do have templates that you can start from, and that also gives you ideas of ways to use Google Forms as well. So here's one for contact information. So maybe even on a parent night or at the beginning of a school year, if you have some Chromebooks or laptops or iPads set up, you could have a Google form there to quickly collect student and parent information, and it will all go straight into a spreadsheet. You could also use this for RSVPs, party invites, and I'm going to click here on these 2 little arrows right here, and that opens up the template gallery so you can see a whole lot more. So here you'll see work suggestions such as an order form or event feedback. If you go to education, you're going to see here's a blank quiz, an exit ticket form, assessment, worksheet. So these forms are already created for you with a background selected and different sections selected. But if you click on that and you like it, then go ahead and start editing that. But if you don't really like the way they had it set up, then you can just start from a blank slate and then build it how you want it. And because I've been using forms for a long time, I want to go ahead and just show you how to build from a blank slate. Okay, so we're going to click the blank button, and that's going to open us up to this window. So everything is very generic, the color and everything. So we can actually, I'm going to show you how to change that. Excuse me while I close these windows. So first you want to title your form. So I'm just going to call this example quiz. And once I click down here, this is going to be my first question, and I can click here where it says multiple choice, and you'll see all the different types of questions you can ask. Now, if you want to create a quiz and you want the quiz to grade it for you, then you pretty much want to stick with multiple choice, check boxes, and drop down. Those 3 choices there can be graded for you through the quiz feature, but short answers and paragraphs like you would ask your students, those would be questions that you would have to go in later and read and then add to the grade. And then of course you have your linear skills and multiple choice grids, so if you want to train your students on how to do those as well, you can. And if you're having a sign-up form, then date and time is very helpful also. Okay, so let's just say that my first question is going to be, what is 2 plus 2? And then we can have some answer choices here, and I'm just clicking inside the boxes. And you can have as many answer choices as you want. If you click Add Other, this is what it does. You click Add Other, and it basically gives you this box that if they don't like these choices, they can put in their own answer. So that wouldn't really apply for this multiple choice question, but I just wanted to show you what that other box does. So if you have something there you want to get rid of, you just click this X to get rid of it. And now you have your 4 choices. And also notice that you have these little dots on the left-hand side when you hover your mouse over, so you can click and re-drag the answer choices to put them in different locations. Okay. Another suggestion too is if you do like to keep things numbered, you could number your questions as well. You just want to be careful with that because these 3 dots up here allow you to click and drag and move your questions around too. So if you do switch your questions around, then that's going to get jumbled up. And if you do choose the feature that I'm going to show you in a moment of how to randomly mix up your questions, then that number would kind of get messed up there too. So but it just depends on what your preference is. So let's say that I have another question I want to add, but I want to keep these same answer choices. I have these options down here at the bottom. So the first one is duplicate. Then I can trash it if I don't want this question anymore. And then I have required. If I click required, then that means the student can't skip the question. So they can't submit the form until they have answered this question. I'd like to choose required every time just to make sure the student doesn't accidentally hit submit and forget to answer something. So it's kind of to help protect them as well. So, and then these three little dots give you a few more options here. This one is to shuffle the option order. So if I click shuffle option order, that means that every student that takes this quiz, the option order might be different for each student. So if you have students sitting next to each other at a computer or iPad station, then that might be a good choice, because then they can't just look at the other person and see they chose the third one, because their third one might be a different answer. Okay, so that's the shuffle option order. So let's say I want to duplicate this one. So now I have the same question, but I want to change up what this says. So I just want to put 5 plus 1. Okay, so now I have the same answer choices, but it's just a different question. So I can duplicate questions to keep myself from having to recreate each answer choice. Okay, now if I want to add a new question, I just click the plus sign, and that adds another question here. And let's just say, who invented Apple computers? And this is where we could then have check boxes if we have more than one answer that we want them to be able to choose. And if we wanted to do a drop down, then we could put multiple choice questions here, but it would show up like a drop down menu where they would have to click on it, and then they have several different options. Kind of like you see for whenever you try to pick states in an application, you know, you have to click the drop down menu and then you can choose the state you want. So that way it doesn't fill up a whole bunch of space. So you can choose any one of those, and if you are going to have this graded as a quiz, any of those should be graded. Okay. So that is the basis of creating your own form. You just keep clicking this plus sign to add new questions to your form. And again, you can reorder things. So these 3 dots here allow you to click and drag, and you can reorder the questions. Okay. So once you have all of your questions in, well, I guess there's one other thing I want to point out to you. So let's say that for this question, I want to have a graph. So if I click this image icon, I can click here, and it will take me out to be able to upload a picture. I could take a snapshot. I could type in a URL to a picture. If you have albums in your Google Drive, then you could use that, or you could go straight to your Google Drive and pull a picture. But I really love this feature, the search feature. So let's say that I want them to identify the parts of a leaf. So I'm going to put parts of leaf, and then I'm going to search through these images that come up. And some of these images already have the labels on it, and we definitely don't want that. But if we could find something that maybe we could possibly use, I could also even put blank parts of a leaf and see what that brings up. I think I had better choices with the other one, so I'm going to delete that, because there was one right here that we could possibly use. I'm not a science teacher, so I'm just giving you an example. So if I put that picture here, okay, and look, it even has answer choices. So I could have them identify something based off of that picture. I can even put more of a description here. What is the part labeled F? Okay, or you could even put that in quotation marks. And then then you could have your answer choices here, and then they would have to select that answer. You could also have answer choices as pictures too. So you could, and you have the option to put a word with that picture with each one. So that's really awesome that you could make a test with just pictures as the question and pictures as the answer choices. Sometimes that's helpful for music teachers or art teachers when you have more specific things that you're trying to have students identify and label. Okay. The other great thing too is that you can add titles and descriptions. So let's say that the first part of your test was going to be vocabulary, and then the second part of your test was going to be I guess more of a content area that you're teaching your students. So let's say you're teaching them World War II. So first you have vocabulary, and now you want to talk about, these questions are just going to cover World War II. So if you want to section off your test that way, you could click the T for title, and then you could just call this section World War II questions. And then you could even put a description of how you want them to answer those questions, or maybe a hint that you want them to remember as well. And then you could click the plus sign and then have your first question under that. Okay. So now that you have built your test and you have your quiz the way that you want it, or your survey the way that you want it, in order to get it out there, first let's just do first things first. We always want to name our forms, and when we click there, it automatically takes the name that we gave our form at the top. But if we want to change that to something else, we can. That's how it's going to show up in our Google Drive. So inside of our Google Drive, this area here is where you're going to see that name. So that's how you can help keep yourself organized. If let's say that I just wanted to give the quiz out or the survey out exactly how it is, I could click this preview button up here at the top, and when I click that preview button, this is the link that I would copy and paste into Google Classroom, or I could shorten the link, you know, with a URL shortener. However you send out links to your class is how you would get them this link. Okay. So once you send that link out to them, this is the live form. So they would go through, they would answer these questions, and then you would be able to see on your side of it, you would be able to see how many responses are there. So when you click responses, you would be able to see the summary of all the responses, and then you would be able to see individual responses if you want to. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like from the participation quiz. So look, we've had 102 responses. Thank you guys so much. And when I click responses, we're going to see, okay, have you used Google Forms before? So we have 79% have used Google Forms and 20% have not. So that really helps me gauge my audience to see what exactly where you're starting from. And then we have who won the most medals in the men's swimming. So we have a good answer there, and you can see the numbers change as people answer. So now 105 people have taken it, and the charts update live as people answer the questions. And we have this one here. That's great. Okay, so I wanted to show you the differences in some of the questions. So these were multiple choice type questions, so they show up as pie charts. And then this last one is a bar graph, which was which are colors an apple could be. So they could choose more than one answer. Okay, so there are some great answer choices there. So now if I wanted to see individual responses, and this would help if I asked for names, but I didn't want to ask for names this time, I could see person number 1, this is how they responded. I could click this little arrow and then see person number 2's responses, number 3, and so on. So if you did ask for names, then you would be able to tell whose name this was, okay? Now, the easiest way to look at all of this information is to actually click on this green icon here to create a spreadsheet. So if I click here, it's going to ask me, what do I want to name it? And I always keep this name because it's the same name as my quiz, but it has responses at the end of it. So I'm going to click create, and it's going to create this form for me to show me the majority of the answers. It's going to give me a timestamp. So if their names are here, I'm also going to see what time they submitted that form. And then I can go through and I can organize this information however I need to for my data. Okay. And then also up here at the top, you know, you can see here how you can sort it. And then underneath form, you can go to show summary of responses, and that also gives you the data as well, just like you saw it in that area. Okay. So in both places, you can get similar information. Okay. So thank you again for all of you that took this so that I could show you live how a form works and how easy it can be for your classroom. So if I come back over here to the example quiz, okay, I'm just going to close this window. Okay, so this is the form that I created, the example quiz. I'm going to click on question. And let's say now if I do want to ask for a name, I definitely want to add a question and I want to ask for their name, and I'm going to make it a short answer, which it already was smart enough for me to know that I wanted that. I want to require that question, and I want to click on this and drag it all the way to the top because I want the name to be the first thing that they see. Okay, so that is how you ask for a student's name. But if you're a Google Apps for Education school, there will also be an option for you to say automatically collect the respondent's name based on their Google username. And so then that way you don't have to ask for a name because it's automatically going to ask for that. So let me just show you now how to turn this into an actual quiz. You have your test made. Now you want to make it to where it's easy for you to grade and put in the grade book. So all you have to do is click up here where the cogwheel is for settings. And you're going to see underneath the general area here it says collect email addresses. So if you're a Google Apps for Education school and you check that box, it will automatically collect your students' email addresses, which is their username for their Google Apps account. You can also choose to limit to one response. If you don't choose this box, then at the end of the quiz there will be a link that will ask if they want to submit another response. Now, in your spreadsheet, you'll be able to see if they answered it more than once, and you'll be able to see the timestamp. So it's really up to you how you want to limit your students. And then also, are you going to give students the ability to edit after they submit? If you check this box, they will have a link at the end of their quiz that allows them to go back and make any changes to their answers. So it does not show them what correct answers are or anything. It takes them back to the same exact form that they were in. It just shows them what answers they chose, and then they're able to go back and make changes. So I do like that feature because it doesn't give away anything for them going back. But if you know you're going to have them have their notes out and they could go back and cheat, then of course you don't want to check that box. But it is a good option to have. And then here you could have them see the summary charts or responses. If you're giving a survey of some kind and you want your class to be able to go back and see how the other students answered or other teachers, then you could check that box so that they can see the summary as well. So now that you know what those do, the presentation area here is where you can shuffle the question order. So this would shuffle all of your questions into a different order. And this is a great feature to have as long as you're not numbering your questions. But it's totally fine, majority of the time. So just kind of test it out if you want to use that feature. And then where it says quizzes, we're going to click make this a quiz. That automatically turns this into a gradable quiz. I want to release their grade immediately after they submit it, which means they'll know their grade as soon as they turn it in, unless there's a short answer or something that I have to go back and grade later. Or you could say later after manual review, then you can decide when the students see their grade. This is what they're going to see as long as you have these boxes checked. They'll be able to see what questions they missed, they'll be able to see what the correct answer was, and what the point value was. So now when I click save, after turning that on, it's going to make these a quiz. So when I click back on the questions, down here at the bottom it says answer key. So I have to click on the answer key for each one, choose what the correct answer is. I can give feedback, for whether they get it right or wrong. So here's feedback for incorrect answers, here's feedback for correct answers. Or you can post a link if you have like a tutorial video you want to take them to. But that is how you can add more to your quiz or survey depending on how much time you want to put into it. So now that I have chosen that, now I want to choose how many points this is going to be worth. So let's say these are 10 points each. And now I just click on the next one. And when I click on the next one, I choose answer key. I choose the correct answer, how many points I want it to be worth. I could even type it in if I want to. And then I go to the next one. And it automatically saves each one. Okay? So once I choose that, it will automatically grade their quiz whenever they take it. So when I click on responses, I'll be able to see what their grade is. And if I click on this spreadsheet, then I'll be able to see what their grade is also in that spreadsheet and be able to type it directly into my grade book. And the students know what their grade is immediately afterwards. You can type their grade in immediately afterwards into gradebook. Everybody's happy. Everybody has immediate feedback. And I think that is a transforming way for you to assess your students in your classroom. Now, last but not least, what does this little puzzle piece and what does this little color palette do? So the color palette allows you to change your color, of course, but you could also choose this little image icon, and there are tons and tons of background images to choose from. So you could just click on illustrations or even other. There's lots and lots of pictures to choose from for your background. whenever you click the puzzle piece, this is where you go to add Google Form add-ons. And there are some amazing Google Form add-ons. So if you ever want to go check those out, then you want to click on these three dots here, and then you want to go down to where it says add-ons, and then you can search all the Google Form add-ons that are available. Mine's a little slow coming up. So you can see here that you have GMath for Forms. This is amazing for math teachers. This allows you to put in formulas and use the correct type of symbols. Even for science teachers, this is very helpful. So if you add GMath, this will help you tremendously in creating your math tests for those like algebraic type equations. You just have to look through here to see what other ones can be useful to you. But Form Limiter and GMath, and let's see, and Choice Eliminator, those are three that I would suggest that you look at first. Once you add them, you will find them underneath the puzzle piece. That is where your add-ons will be found. And then also underneath these three dots, this is where you can make a copy of this if you need to make a copy for different class periods, if you want to keep your class periods separate. So let's say you make a quiz for period 1 and you don't want all the answers for period 2 to show up with period 1. You want to keep them separate. Just make a copy for each period you have, and then just change the name in the form. And then, of course, you can print your quizzes, and you can add collaborators. So if you want other teachers to come up with questions with you, if you have a co-teacher, then you can add collaborators, and they can edit your quiz and see it exactly the way you see it on the back end. So I hope that you guys have gotten something out of this webinar today. I've tried to cover as much as I could. Oh, and one last thing here on the responses side, you can turn this off to where you are not accepting responses anymore. So let's say at 5 o'clock you don't want students who wanted to go in and take the quiz again once they got home to take it again. Even though you can see it in your spreadsheet that they took it twice, you could just turn off accepting responses, and then you wouldn't accept responses anymore from anyone. Okay, so whenever you click the eyeball right here to get that link, it is automatically public for your students to take it. You don't have to change share settings or anything like that in other Google documents. So I think I covered pretty much everything I could think of at the moment, but I'm very happy to answer any questions that have come in.
Hi, Kim. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Google Forms always is our #1 question riser, just because it is so incredible and there's so many things that you can do with it. We're going to go through a few, try to give you some yes/no ones so we can get through a lot of them. And then for the folks out there that have tons of questions, I'm going to show you how to access tons of on-demand webinars that will show you how to do all of the things that you are wanting to do. So first off, Kim, lots of questions coming in. Do you have to have a Google account to be an answerer of a Google form?
Oh, that's a good question. No, you do not. So if you make a form and send it out to people, anyone can answer that form. They do not have to have a Google account at all or sign in or anything.
Okay. When you randomize the questions in a Google form, are you still able to get them auto-graded?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Here's an interesting question. If you embed a YouTube video into a Google form, but your school blocks YouTube, will it show for the students?
Nope, it's still going to be blocked because we're one of those schools that blocks YouTube also, and the students can't see the videos.
Do you have a different alternative that you use at your school?
Not really, because they only accept YouTube videos in the Google Forms as of right now.
Okay.
So unless Google changes it, then there's really no workaround.
Okay. A couple questions actually about duplicating assessments, and one of the teachers was specifically asking a great question. She likes to have a reduced question assessment for some of her special needs and special education students. Would you be able to duplicate an assessment and then take out some questions easily for a second assessment?
Yes, when you copy the form, you can make any changes to it that you need to, so that is another way you can differentiate. Another thing is under those three dots at the top right corner that I showed where you could add collaborators, in there is also a part where you could pre-fill out a form, and so she could actually go in and answer a couple of questions to eliminate some of those. to where, so when it does give you a separate link, then it gives the other students. So when she sends that link to the special needs student, then whatever she has pre-filled in is what will show for that student too. So that's another way that, you know, someone could help a student.
Okay. Are you able to limit one response per student?
Yes, you can limit one response per student. Yes, you could just check that box that says limit to one response. Whenever you click on the cogwheel, the settings icon, and you could limit it to just one response.
Okay. Are you able to set a date and time in advance for accepting responses?
No, you just have to turn on and off that accepting responses button.
Okay. Can you edit a question after you've produced your quiz? So you catch a spelling error.
Yes, I actually had a teacher who did that recently. She noticed that she chose the wrong answer choice, and half of her class was getting it wrong. And so she went back in and changed it to the correct answer choice, and it automatically regraded everything.
Okay. Can students text an answer using a cell phone?
No, not in the Google Forms feature. They can pull it up on their phone. They can pull up the form on their phone and choose the answers, but they can't text the answers.
Okay.
To the form.
Thanks, Kim. And lots of questions coming in, again, about those certificates of completion, as well as some questions from our members. Just want to go ahead and answer those for everyone here. Now, if you attended today live and you are a member of Simple K-12, you may need your CEUs and clock hour reports, and I'll show you just how easy it is. When you log into your membership at Simple K-12, simply go to view your profile, and you will see a big blue button that says transcript. This is where we're able to track and record absolutely everything you do at Simple K-12. Whether you come live or you watch on demand, we can record it all for you. When you have completed a webinar at Simple K-12, you'll see a blue ribbon that allows you to print an individual certificate of completion for that webinar. Now, if you were here earlier and you've been looking for your session completions from session 1 and 2, don't worry. It does take us 48 hours to check your attendance and verify your Simple K-12 membership status. So check back on a Monday afternoon and those should be ready for you. If you want to print all of your activity from today or any day, you can always print your full transcript report here at Simple K-12. It really is that easy. Now, I want to take a moment and show you how to access more on Google Forms. Right after this, I'll show you how to join Simple K-12 if you aren't a member already. Now, Google Forms is one of our most popular Google topics. We literally had hundreds of questions come in, all of which are answered in other videos inside of our website. When you come members to the course catalog, you'll see all of the training that we have, from blended learning, classroom management, college and career readiness. The list goes on, and let's jump down here to Google. You can start with Google Basics, work your way up to Google Intermediate. We have over 100 webinars on demand. Let me help you find those things on Google Forms. You can jump in and go into Google G Suite here, formerly Google Apps for Education. I'm going to point you to Google Forms and Intro here. There are more things that you can do with that. In here you can see different ways to use Google Forms in the classroom. Here's Kim's that she just did now. So many things for Google Forms. I'm going to recommend that you jump into this introduction to G Suite. Now, you can always search the community for Google Forms as well, and you're going to find everything that we have available for Google Forms. You are going to go from 0 to 60 to be an expert in Google Forms, and you are going to feel so confident using it in your classroom. Now, don't forget, we do have all of this video content available on demand for those that do have a membership to Simple K-12. Now, if you're sitting there saying to yourself, I would love to be a member of Simple K-12, how can I join today? Then let me show you how we can help you out today. Now, normally, a membership to Simple K-12 has a registration fee of $397, but you do not have to pay that today. We don't want you to pay this This membership registration rate, even though it is such a great value as it is, members join for $397 to receive a year of unlimited training. This is less than the cost of a 3 or 4 day conference, and you're getting that support all year long. It is so worth the price of this. And in fact, someone put a comment into the chat box that said the membership fee is worth it for everything you can learn about Google Forms alone. And you are not just getting Google training today, and you don't have to pay $397. If you want to join without paying this membership fee, though, you do need a very special link. And I'm going to have Leanna send that out to you, and I'll pull the link up on the screen in just a minute. We have membership options for you to join today at a fraction of the cost. We opened this event up to the entire education community, and we wanted to make it affordable for everyone. You can join today for 1 year for just $197, 2 years for just $277, which is less than the price of a 1-year membership. We've also broken it down to give you multi-payment options so that you can find the membership payment that's right for you. Now, no matter which membership option you choose, you are getting absolutely everything from Simple K-12. 500 plus live webinars all year long. If you're having fun today, if you've enjoyed connecting with presenters and other teachers, then come on and join us, and you can have this experience all year long. You're going to get access to thousands of on-demand webinars waiting for you with a click of the button when you join Simple K-12. Now, earlier today, we noticed that there was a small glitch in the shopping cart, making the $197 just $147. We know our tech team was probably alerted of this, but they haven't updated it yet. We're still getting membership registrations for $147 today. The cart is still showing that price. I don't know when it will be fixed, but I'm sure it will because the price is $197. So if you are still seeing the $147 during checkout, as long as you see that on your screen, you're going to get that locked in. I say do it now because it could go up to the $197 at any point. But also consider that 2-year option at just $277. Now, I want to make sure that you guys have the link to this. So if you have your mobile devices out, I'm going to pull it up in just a second so that you can take a snapshot of this link. It's the only way to join today without paying the $397. When you join the teacher learning community, you're not just getting training and CEUs and video recordings. Those are all great. What you're doing is joining a network of 650,000 teachers just like you who are learning, growing, and sharing together day in and day out. It is a dedicated network of professionals dedicating their lives to education and also dedicating their lives to helping you. And in return, you will help them as well. This teacher learning community is built on peer-to-peer networking, peer-to-peer learning, and we are here to not only help inspire and engage, but give you those necessary skills for your classroom, especially as technology is changing. Now, $397 is a lot of money, and so is $277 and even $197. It still is a lot of money, but this is an investment in yourself. You really can't go wrong with a year-long membership to Simple K-12. You can pay hundreds of dollars for conferences or workshops that are 1 or 2 days, but with a membership to Simple K-12, you get that support all year long. Now, if you're still not 100% sure that Simple K-12 is right for you, go ahead and talk to some of the other members in the back channel, and rest assured that you will love Simple K-12, and we even can guarantee it. We offer a 45-day, 100% money-back guarantee. I don't want you to like Simple K-12. I don't even want you to love Simple K-12. I want you to say that Simple K-12 is the best professional development experience you have ever had as an educator. And if you can't say that in 45 days, we will happily refund your money, no questions asked. We want you to invest in yourself. Invest in a professional development experience that will motivate and inspire you. We are confident that Simple K-12's teacher learning community will do that. But if for any reason you feel like that investment would be better in a workshop or a conference or attending some other sort of professional development experience, we want you to take advantage of that. We're here to help inspire, motivate, and encourage you day in and day out to be the best you can be in your classroom. We hope you will join us. We have made so many purchasing options available for you today. You will be joining a network of 650,000 other teachers just like you when you join Simple K-12. Now, I have some questions coming in about the shared resources area of the site. Someone heard that they can get free lesson plans on Simple K-12. The great thing about the membership is there are never any additional fees for joining. You're also able to access our shared resource center, which is similar to other teacher sharing sites that you may be familiar with. You can browse by subject area, grade level, and resource type. Over 857 lesson plans alone waiting for you to download and use in your classroom. Have you ever waken up late one morning and realized you have an extra planning period, or there's going to be a weird thing in the schedule and you need a little extra activity to do with your students? Pop on into the teacher learning community, available 24/7 from home, from your mobile, anywhere with internet access. You can download a lesson plan idea, ideas for your interactive whiteboard, a pop quiz, a test, resources that other teachers have created and they want to share with you. And you can also share them with your resources as well. Now, Sally was asking about resources for her ESL classroom. Let's jump in and take a look at the catalog. There is so much content in here for you. In ESL, some of the titles include Teaching in a Culturally Diverse Classroom, Raising Reading, Promoting Literacy Development at Home, Chrome extensions for struggling readers, teaching foreign languages, content language integration learning strategies for blended learning, top web apps for English language learners, using engaging games to make learning fun for young English language learners. I'm getting tongue-tied with all of this language learning. There is something in here for absolutely everyone. Leanna, any other questions coming in?
What if somebody already has a membership but they want to take advantage of this?
Perfect. For those of you that already have a membership to Simple K-12, go ahead and lock in this discount. We know many of you have paid the $397 and you probably want this special discount to extend your membership. Now is the time. You don't have to wait until you expire to renew your membership. You can renew early. You won't waste any time. We will simply add 24 or 12 months on to the end of your current membership. Now, Jill was asking if she can receive credit from the earlier sessions if she joins now. Normally, you have to have your membership before you register for the webinar, but we will go back, even by hand, if we have to. As long as you purchase by midnight tonight, you will receive credit for all of the webinars that you attended today. Now, guys, I know you have lots of things swirling around in your head, but we're here today to learn about Google, all things Google. We've had 3 sessions. We have 3 more left. And next we have Deb Norton, who's going to show us how to engage and motivate our students with HyperDocs created in Google Docs. I have no idea what HyperDocs are, but I can't wait to learn from Deb. So hopefully you have time to join us for our next session. Now, people are asking for the special link for the discount. Let me pull it up one more time. The link will be on the screen in a minute. If you have your smartphone, pull it out, take a snapshot of it. You cannot get these discounts any other way. We did notice the shopping cart still is displaying the $147 price, so lock that in before the tech team realizes it. Luckily, Leanne and I don't even know how to get into that. I have no coding skills, so you're safe, but our programmers have been alerted. So go ahead and make sure you lock that in if that is the right purchasing option for you. Deb is about to join us. If you want to join the next session, go to your email, look for that Session 3 admission ticket, and we'll see you on the next webinar.